Hey moms and dads, welcome to our channel Just Mom Dad Things. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the 4 key things that you should know about vaccinating your babies. The type of vaccine, where to get them vaccinated, the post-vaccination care, and the record keeping process. Don't forget to watch this video till the end as I'm going to share 3 useful tips for making sure that the vaccination process is easier for you and your child. Let's talk about record keeping. Now, the vaccination process starts right after birth. I remember in the hospital where Vamika was born, she was given her hepatitis B shot and the oral polio vaccine right after birth. And she was given the BCG shot 2 days after her birth. Now, what these hospitals do is they will give you a vaccination card, also called an immunization record sheet or a booklet, or you will find a detailed card like this at the back of your doctor file. Now, what this entails is it has the age at which the child has to be vaccinated. It has the details of the vaccine available, the date that the vaccine is due on, the date that you gave it on, and the brand name of the vaccine that you have given. In addition to this, they will also attach the sticker of the vial for details of the brand name, the batch number, and the expiry date. This is a very handy guide and it's a very important document. You need to make sure that you're carrying this for your doctor's appointment, because basis this, they will suggest the next due date. What we used to do is, as soon as we found out about the due date for the next vaccine, we used to make sure to add it to our calendar so that we know how to plan our month around that. Now let's talk about where you can get your babies vaccinated. So you have 2 broad options. One is going to a government center or a hospital where you can get the vaccination done for free, or you can opt for a private setup. Now, what happens at a government hospital is that they follow the national immunization schedule, which is provided by the Government of India. The vaccines mentioned in these are also called as mandatory vaccines. However, if you go to a private setup, the vaccines that are given there, in addition to the mandatory vaccines, are the vaccines mentioned in the Indian Association of Pediatrics. Now, what the association says is that there are a couple of diseases which are not covered in the national immunization schedule. These are termed as optional vaccines by the government, but in my opinion, you should totally go for these vaccines because they cover diseases like influenza, typhoid, varicella, which is your chickenpox, mumps, then you also have your hepatitis A, and you have the meningococcal diseases. We have linked the National Immunization Schedule vaccine chart and the Indian Association of Pediatrics vaccine chart in our description box below. So don't forget to check it out if you would like to know more about it. So now let's move to the process of getting your child vaccinated at a government hospital or center. Now there are 2 routes that you can take. One is that you reach an ASHA member. These ASHA members are usually in touch with maids as soon as they get pregnant, because the maids are going to deliver at a government hospital for sure. So I'm sure the maids will be able to help you out to reach out to them. The other route that you can take is directly contact the government center or the hospital. Now once you reach there for the first time, it's going to be a little long and tedious because you have to go through the registration process. They will fill all your details and provide you with a vaccination booklet, which looks very similar to the vaccination card that I showed you before. Now in government hospitals, the vaccines are free of cost, and even the paracetamol drops that are given post-vaccination are free of cost. But there is one disadvantage that I found in government hospitals. You don't have a choice of vaccines. They don't have painless vaccines. You have to only go for the normal vaccines. Which brings us to the next section of our video. What is painless and what is a normal vaccine? Now, since the last couple of years, there have been 2 options of vaccines available, normal and painless. The nomenclature is really confusing. I remember when we were presented with these two options for Vamika, we were absolutely clueless because we didn't know exactly how they are different. So what is a painless vaccine and why is it called so? So let me get one thing straight. The only vaccine that is painless is your DTP vaccine, which is also known as the diphtheria, tetanus, and the pertussis or the whooping cough vaccine. Now this is injected at the 6th week, 10th week and the 14th week, and there is a booster dose at 1.5 years and 5 years. The deciding factor for whether this vaccine is a painless one or a normal one is dependent on the pertussis component of the vaccine. So the normal vaccine is called DTWP, where the W stands for whole cell, and the painless vaccine is called DTaP, where the A stands for acellular. Now what does whole cell and acellular exactly mean? So whole cell means that the disease causing pathogen is put in an altered form, which means it's either killed or weakened in the vaccine. And acellular, as the name suggests, means that a component of the disease causing pathogen which would trigger an immune response is added to the vaccine. So when they say that a vaccine is painless, they don't mean that the injection process is painless. What they mean is that the after effects are less painful as compared to the normal vaccines. Now this is because of the composition of the vaccines, which I already mentioned to you, the whole cell and the acellular thing. The whole cell vaccines will have a higher immune response, or rather trigger a higher immune response as compared to the acellular vaccines. In case some kind of effects do arise with your painless vaccines, they will last for only up to 12 to 24 hours. But in normal vaccines, these effects can last from 48 to 72 hours. A disadvantage, however, of painless vaccines is the cost. They are 30 to 50% more expensive than your normal vaccines. So if your finances permit you to do so, please opt for painless vaccines, because trust me, the post-vaccination scenario or the way that things are very easier to manage. Now let's move to post-vaccination care. I remember our pediatrician used to recommend feeding Vamika at least 30 minutes before the vaccination. Now the child is obviously going to cry when they are getting vaccinated, but there are some things that you can do to make sure that they are a little happy after the vaccination is done. A soft toy or some songs or even some nice cuddles and kisses help both the parent and the child. We used to make sure that we are waiting at the hospital 15 to 20 minutes after the vaccination, because the doctor used to suggest doing that to make sure to check if there are any kind of after effects that are immediately being seen. Majorly, they used to check for vomiting. Once we are back home, we used to remove the small band-aid, ice the site of injection, and then make her sleep. Now in painless vaccines, there is a low chance of fever. In Vamika's case, after 2 vaccinations, I remember she had low-grade fever, so paracetamol drops really helped in that case. You will notice that at least for the first 12 to 24 hours, the child will be a little clingy and a little irritable, which is absolutely normal. One more thing that you have to keep in mind is that you're not supposed to rub the area where they have gotten injected. By rubbing, I mean giving them massages. So make sure that you're not massaging the child for at least 2 to 3 days. And what we used to do is, the night of the vaccination, we used to give Vamika a sponge bath, and next day onwards we used to give her a normal bath, just making sure that we are not really touching the area where she got vaccinated. So here are the 3 tips. Tip number 1. Almost a week before her vaccination date, we used to make sure that we are pretend playing with Vamika the whole scenario of her vaccination. We used to enact as doctors, saying hi to Vamika, greeting her, and then checking her with the stethoscope, followed by her vaccination. After which we used to, praise Vamika a lot and tell her about how brave she is. While this sounds a little foolish, trust me, it really helps babies. Tip number 2. After the 15-20 minute wait period was over post-vaccination, we always made sure to feed Vamika. Up to 6 months, we used to give her breast milk, and after 6 months, we made sure to carry her favorite snack. This kind of calms them down and diverts their attention from the whole vaccination situation. Tip number 3, and one of the most important tips. Don't forget to ask your pediatrician for the digitized vaccination records of your babies, because it's a mandatory document if and when your child plans to go and study abroad. Hope I've been able to cover all the major points related to vaccinations. If there's anything more that you would like to know, please don't forget to mention it down in the comments below. Also, if you have seen the entire video, thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Bye!